Reconvene to open session, 6:07 p.m. Board of any action taken in closed session, showing government code 5.9571. And we will have the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
This is a board.
There you go. Good evening. I'm here to present the Aces Award tonight. I'd like to ask Zenny Zavala to come up here for a second, please. Right here.
Breaking body.
All right, I'll just go. So retired teacher Susan Cherny McNesby would like to present you with this. So I'm going to read what she wrote. Zenny has been a tremendous help with navigating my new life as a retiree. She has guided me through every process with great care. That's short, but it's absolutely true. So I'm going to go a little off script and give you a little pile up. I'm just going to say that Zenny has been an absolute charm to work with for all the years that I've known her, whether I'm going to her site in person, or especially, and this is what I thought about on the way over here. If you call her on the phone, first of all, she is going to help you more than the question that you're asking. But more importantly, I think, is that I can see her smile while I'm on the phone. And I know she's there with me and going to take the utmost greatest care of whatever my problem is. So, thank you.
One right. Information item. Okay. We have total UTK through 8th grade, 13,585. Early learning department, 296, for a total of 13,881 students, which is a gain of 37 students from our last board report. But it's a loss of 233 from the same month last year. And out of that, we've got 1,195 homeless, 273 foster, and 664 of our students have family members in the armed forces. Thank you. Presentations request, proposal report, facilities implementation program. All right. Well,
good evening. My name is Emilio Flores, CEO of Call Forest Ventures. This evening, I'll be providing a short update to the board regarding the facilities program. It's being implemented under the facilities implementation program approved by the board back in January 2024. The primary funding of this program is the voter-approved Measure LS bond program in conjunction with state grants, as well as developer fees and other identified sources of funds from the district. Happy to report that we are moving right along on most of our projects. So the plan prioritizes the implementation of 21st century learning environments at all the school sites, looking at making sure we're providing opportunities for the educational program to be supported through facilities as the program is implemented. We are utilizing, like I said before, state grants, proceeds, developer fees, and other sources of funds to do this. There is no immediate impact on the general fund internal facilities program. This is the second semi-annual report to the board. We come back to the board on a 6-month basis to give you a progress report of where we're at in terms of the program and what's expected as we move forward, as well as to highlight changes to the program, either dictated by program needs at the district level or from requirements from the state, and how that affect our overall facilities program as we go forward. As always, the educational program is what's driving these facilities improvements. We're looking at ways in which we can support the educational program that's being put in place. Some of that is very apparent in how we are modifying facilities to adapt to reconfiguring some of our sites to TK8s. Some of that is also evident through the implementation of UPK and those programs as well at our sites as well. Other things are a little less noticeable as we get into modernization. It's really going back and refreshing a lot of the rooms. You have schools that were built over many different eras, and we are trying to bring those up to a certain standard so that we have a uniform functionality for students, teachers, and staff at those sites. We currently have 11 projects underway at eight sites. The bulk of the work started off over at Sunnydale Elementary. That's where we received a California State Preschool TKK facilities grant program. That's the primary source of funding for that. That project is currently underway. We placed the buildings. You have a chance to stop by. You can see the buildings have been placed over there. And we're working with the district and everybody else to get that project completed. We're hoping to get that done by the end of the calendar year, and so we'll be able to occupy that sometime in 2026. Nancy Correa Elementary modernization, the board had just adopted at our last meeting the GMP for the modernization and construction of 2 TKK classrooms over at Nancy Correa as well. We have gathered all the documentation necessary to move forward with that, and notice to proceed has been given, and construction activities should begin within the next 30 days on that site. We are working with the district, coordinating with the site, obviously with the movement of students, teachers, staff, and making sure that we are keeping construction activities isolated from the school community as we go forward. We do have a DSA approved project, which is the modernization of the 2 existing kindergarten classrooms over at Sunnydale. Those will be going under construction once we finish the construction over at the TKK site over there as well. And we'll be able to move around there. We've also been looking at the modernization of the rest of the campus of Sunnydale while we're out there. And so we're currently in the process of working with the architectural team and the builder to work through the construction documents. We hope to have those submitted later this year. At New Vista, we are currently in the process of getting our DSA and CA approval. DSA approval actually came through about 6 weeks ago. I apologize for this report is actually dated about 4.5, 6 weeks ago. Just administratively, that's how we do things. But we are currently in the process right now of going out and soliciting bids for a guaranteed maximum price there as well. We hope to bring that to the board probably in November for consideration and to start construction activities there shortly thereafter. Monte Vista, we are in a process right now where the modernization project and the construction project are both in DSA simultaneously. And we're waiting for some of the clerical work of the DSA to be completed. At every site, what happens is that when we go through the construction process, there are 2 parts to the approval process from the Division of State Architect. The first is the construction documents, and that's actually the review in which they go through and say, okay, this meets code, this is built to our standards, this meets ADA requirements, all those types of things. That is at the beginning of the project or when we start construction. There's also DSA closeout, and DSA closeout occurs basically at the end of the project, and where the on-site inspector of record agent that the state has assigned to oversee the implementation of construction actually say, yes, it was built to these specs, it was built. It's an accurate representation of what the state requested to be built at this particular site. That's the closeout site. We've had lots of closeout issues over the past probably 5 or 6 years related to portables, classrooms that were placed on sites over the years. And so as we're going through these modernization projects, the DSA is telling us we have to close out those projects in order for us to get our stamp. So in the Monte Vista's case, we're working through that process right now. We've submitted all necessary documentation. We should be receiving DSA approval there as well. That's an issue that we have at all of our sites. It's something that is prevalent throughout the state, especially as it relates to portable classrooms, where they're placed sometimes and they're not necessarily gone through that process. And we've been addressing that as we've been going through the sites as we go forward. At Sunnydale, the other thing we've been putting into place is the addition of a gymnasium to be built on the site. That is both at Sunnydale and Mariposa. We'll talk about Mariposa in a second, but utilizing some additional grant funds in order to fund additional improvements over at Sunnydale as well. At Lincoln, Sierra, Desert View, and Mariposa, we're all in the design phases right now. We started with the schematic designs of those improvements over there as well. Most of those are also modernization projects with limited new construction there going forward. We anticipate having all those submitted to DSA towards the end of this year, or early next year, for consideration by them. Our primary funding source outside of the bond measure is state aid. It's the modernization and construction programs. The state has continued to work on setting up administrative rules and regulations that will govern the newest iteration of the program. As you may recall, back in November 2024, Proposition 51, no, Proposition 2. Sorry, I got all the generations correct. Proposition 2 was approved by voters, replenishing the bond monies available for modernization and new construction grants. Along with that, because of the measure language, it was left up to the Office of Public School Construction, the California Department of Education, and the State Allocation Board to determine the regulations that would govern that program going forward. There have not been any major changes to the requirements for the program, so we still have eligibility for new construction and for modernization. What has changed is how they are trying to supplement those grants with additional programs. So there's programs for minimal essential facilities. There's programs to say for socially economically disadvantaged school districts, we'll give you a little more grant money, things of that nature. One of the key requirements of that is having a facilities master plan. And it was thought that they would have the regulations in place back in June. And what they've done is they've extended these stakeholder meetings with the school district committee for another 12 months. So while we have a good idea of what we require for the school master plans, what we've committed to the district is when those regulations come out, we will modify the format of our facilities implementation plans to meet that particular form, so that this will serve as our compliance document as we go forward. And we want to go back and redo the facilities master plan that was adopted in 2004. So we're actually taking information we already have, repackage it, and make sure that we're able to provide that to the state. The state believes that what's going to happen is that we will submit this plan to them. Somebody at CD is going to read the plan, and then they're going to say, yes, the project you're applying for grant funding makes sense and it's applicable to this. That part of the mechanism has not been fleshed out yet, so we'll see what happens. But our obligation for applying to the program is we have to provide a facilities master plan with the data that they've requested, and we expect to do that going forward. Overall, we continue to look at opportunities to augment our funding. We've been looking at, we're in the process of submitting about $10.3 million in modernization applications related to Monta Vista, New Vista, Nancy Corey, and Sunnydale. So places where we have DSA approved plans and the approval, we're in the process of submitting those applications for additional reimbursements for this project as we go forward. The vast majority of our program is relying on a reimbursement basis. So what we were doing is we were utilizing our local bond funds to fund the improvements, and then we are seeking reimbursement for our eligible grants from the state on a reimbursement basis to fund additional projects into the future. Currently, we estimate there's approximately $51.6 million in eligibility at our sites that currently exist, and then an additional $27 million in eligibility will be garnered over time. So as we go through this design process, every time we get DSA and CD approval for a process, we're going to submit an application, and we're going to chip away at that $51.6 million of existing eligibility. And as new buildings become eligible, we're going to chip away at the $27 million in there as well. One of the fun things that we are currently investigating is that we've been heavily dependent on modernization grant funding for this program. One of the things that is come to our attention is that there may be a possibility for us to go get new construction eligibility in addition to that. So what we've been doing is that we're currently working with the Office of Public School Construction to verify their data, our data, and make sure it all triangulates. But what we hope to do is come back in January, February, and update the board on a figure that would be an estimated amount for new construction dollars, which would be in addition to all the funds that we've identified to date available for these projects. What that does is two things. A, it would allow us to stretch out our funds further, and then B, allows us to construct additional projects and maybe potentially accelerate projects as that money becomes available going forward as well. So I think that while there's not major changes to this particular update, the third semi-annual update may have some significant changes in terms of timing, sequencing, and so forth, based on the eligibility from that as well. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's a lot of development in your area. So that last bullet, I don't want to skip over that. There's about 2,000 residential units that are currently being planned within your district boundaries. And those additional units are what's going to generate potentially that new construction eligibility that we can use at our existing sites. I touched on this briefly, but once again, the bulk of our program, our $240 million program, is Measure LS. About $122 million of that is being funded by voter-approved bonds, raising those over time. We anticipate selling our next series of bonds probably in 27, 28 fiscal year, and depending on where we are with interest rate and so forth. But I will tell you is that the timing of the bond sale for the district was very advantageous. We got there in there before everything got kind of crazy. So I do want to congratulate the district on that. Ever since interest rates have been going up, they've been stabilizing at a higher rate. And obviously the market uncertainty with the government shutdown and so forth, it's also causing some chaos. But overall, we feel like we're in a good situation over there. Overall, in terms of uses, like I mentioned, I think looking at expenditures for the next 6 months, primarily it's going to be to fund guaranteed maximum prices for New Vista and Vermont Vista, as well as the design development for the other 4 school sites, Desert View, Lincoln, Mariposa, and Sierra. And this is what we believe will be occurring over the next 6 months in terms of construction activities. Like I said, we'll start construction in Nancy Corey, New Vista. Definitely by the end of this year, Nancy Corey will be, like I said, within the next 30 days, the next 14. And then completing some of the projects that we have underway. So at this time, what we do is we provided this to the board for your review. We'll ask that the document be formally adopted at the next board meeting, either under action or consent, whatever is your pleasure. But otherwise, happy to answer any questions you may have at this time. Otherwise, we'll be back at all these board meetings with whatever items we have for board approval. But in terms of the semi-annual, we'll be back again in February or March.
Thanks for coming down and for all the information. I appreciate you guys going after grants and grant funding and all that extra stuff you guys are doing. Kind of just had a question regarding the Sunnydale and Mariposa gyms. Does the grant funding still look like that's a good funding source? Is it?
So what we're using initially was what we call the minimum essential facilities grant. Okay, and originally it was presented to as a program that would allow us to have supplemental grants to our existing modernization. The reality of the situation is what they've actually done is make it closer to a facilities hardship application, which means that we can go through the design, we can go through the construction, and we can ask for the money, but it's going to be solely up to their discretion as to whether or not they give us the money. And so one of the things that we're looking at with the new construction grant dollars is potentially, if that program proves to be too restrictive or too uncertain, is that we'd be able to backfill with the new construction grant dollars, which those gyms would be eligible for, and utilize the dollars that way. Like I said, when the program was originally floated or shown out, it was seen as like, yes, I can demonstrate I have a minimum essential facility, give me the money. They have since gone to say, no, we're going to make a determination of whether or not we're going to give you the money. And so the good news is that we believe, given the development in the area, given the fact that we were not dependent upon new construction eligibility in this program to begin with, that those dollars can backfill if the MEF money does not come into fruition without impacting any other of the projects that are planned.
Yeah, I noticed the Monte Vista timeline was pushed back.
Yes.
Due to facilities. Is that because of the availability of portables that they have?
So one of the things we are struggling with across the board is interim housing. So it's one of the things that we want to make sure that we are going into these campuses. Obviously, we have students and teachers in place. And so whereas 18 months ago, when we had embarked upon this particular program, enrollment was one way, right? And today enrollment's a different way. So one of the things that we're working with is, how do we identify spaces on campus in which we can house students? So, one of the things that we're working with districts is identifying classrooms that have either been repurposed for other uses, either administrative or support spaces that we take back as classrooms to create interim housing. And so we are working diligently with Mr. Coleman and other staff to try to find as many spaces as we can so we can accelerate that. So we hope to bring that back in line. But right now, what is causing that is additional phases of modernization, right? In an ideal world, we'd love to just have an empty campus and modernize, but that's just not going to be reality, right? The next best thing would be half of the school, right? So we're working in halves, trying to make sure that that works and makes efficiency of that way. So hopefully, when we come back in February, March, we'll be able to demonstrate how we found those spaces and we're able to pull that back in as well as other for that project, for all the projects. And frankly, that's a challenge we're having across the board. Good news is, you still got enrollment, right? That's the other side to this. Whereas other school districts, we're seeing drastic declines in enrollment. In those cases, interim housing debris.
Other questions? Thank you very much for your report.
Thank you.
Right along the individual action items. Action of resolution 2025 to 2026 14 for compensation for missed meetings for meetings on September 2nd, 2025 and September 16th, 2025.
Okay.
Motion by Mr. Keating, by Mr. Shaw. All in favor?
Okay, we're going to have item B, adoption of resolution 2025-26 17, board compensation for a missed meeting for Pamela Sarlson on September 2nd. Need a motion. Moved by Mr. Nguyen. Second by Mr. Teepee. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? 1. So motion passes 3-0, 1 abstention.
Adoption of resolution 2025-2026 18 board compensation for this meeting for Greg Pepe on September 16, 2025. Motion?
So moved.
By Mr. Giles. Second by Mr. Wayne. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0 with 1 abstention. Public hearing, notice of intent to adopt alternative school facility fees.
Want to talk? All right. So what this is, oh, sorry.
Hearing opens at 6:30.
So in order to get the development level 2 developer fees, the school board of California district wants to adopt an updated school facilities needs analysis and a corresponding resolution for each year. So that's what this is, the resolution that you guys are approving, so that we can get the developer 2 fees. And that's part of what CFW was talking about, these fees that they'll use for those. Yeah, we've got about close to 2,000. And they did analysis of the area growth and the different projects that are coming in.
That's Mr. Coleman. Bring close at 6:31 p.m. Individual action items, business adoption of resolution 2025-2026. 20, resolution approving a school facilities needs analyst, adopting alternative school facility. Favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Adoption of resolution 2025-2026-15 approving the uncommitted fund balance for technology upgrades, future playground replacement, LCFF, and EPA overpayment by state and early literacy support. Motion by Mr. Giles, second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Adoption of resolution 2025-2026-16, resignation of certain general funds as committed fund balance. Mr. Nguyen, seconded by Mr. Teepee. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. The approval of authorization to utilize the piggyback bid for Antelope Valley Food Purchasing Group for the procurement of fresh produce, Valley Produce, RFP number 01-25-26. Get a motion? By Mr. Nguyen. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 3-0, one abstention. Approval of authorization to utilize the piggyback bid for GJM Distributor, Inc. Tri-County Bread for the procurement of, hold on, buddy, fresh bakery goods for Tri-County Bread. RFP 01-2025-2026 and fresh bakery goods. Favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Public hearing. Sufficiency of instruction materials. Hearing opens at 6:35 p.m.
We have Krista Thompson here who will share some updates for you.
Good evening. So this is our annual Williams sufficiency resolution. We have 15 schools that are being visited by Williams this year. We're later in the year than we've ever been with the Williams visits. So we still have 5 schools left to be visited, but so far all the schools that have been visited have been sufficient. And so I'm happy to report that we will be sufficient, even with those other 5 that are coming down the line. We're very confident that they will be sufficient. So this just ensures that all of our students have all of their curriculum materials.
Hearing closed at 6:36 p.m. Individual action items, educational services, adoption of resolution 2025-2026-19 to certify sufficient pupil textbook instructional material.
Second.
Okay. Second by Mr. Giles. All in favor?
And also like that thing, and that is that the Williams had 0 findings. Good job.
Motion passes 4-0. Adoption of resolution 2025-2026-21 authorizing the filing of child care center licensing application, designating an authorized representative. Motion by Mr. Nguyen. Second by Mr. Teepee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Public hearing, Teachers Association of Lancaster and the Lancaster School District's initial joint contract proposal. Hearing is opening at 6:37 p.m.
We're gonna negotiate for 2 days on October 15th and 17th, and we're looking forward to it. Council Jean and the aye.
Mr. Davis. Hearing closes at 6:37 p.m. Public hearing, California School Employees Association and its chapter number 297, initial proposal of the Lancaster School. Hearing opens at 6:38 p.m.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I just want to let you know that we've already had 2 meetings with the district and negotiations, and we look forward to our 3rd meeting in November. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hearing closes at 6:38 p.m. Public hearing, Lancaster School District's initial proposal, the California School Employees Association and its chapter 297. Hearing opens at 6:39 p.m. Okay, and it closes at 6:30. Individual action items, human resources, acknowledgement of the receipt of Teachers Association of Lancaster and the Lancaster School District initial joint proposal. Can I get a motion? Motion by Mr. TP, second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Acknowledgement of receipt of California School Employees Association and its chapter 297 initial proposal of Lancaster School District.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles, second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Acknowledgement of receipt of Lancaster School District's initial proposal to the California School Employees Association and its chapter 297. Motion by Mr. TV, second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Approval of variable term waiver for 2025-2026 school year. Motion by Mr. Second. Second by Mr. Nguyen.
This will allow us to fill the immediate staffing need, and we need your approval.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Approval of provisional internship permit for 2025-2026. Motion by Mr. TV, second by Mr. Nguyen.
And this also allows us to fill an immediate staffing need. We need your approval.
Mr. Davis. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Discussion the board. Individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it and any supporting documents to the superintendent's assistant or other district official prior to the start of the meeting. Personal information such as a student, parent, guardian's name, address, phone number, date of birth, email address, or other directory information as defined in Education Code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to the superintendent. The board president shall recognize individuals who wish to speak. Individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. Time limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed. Board bylaws 9322. Board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and discussion may take place on an item that is not on the proposed agenda. Board Act. Comments from PTA? CSEA? Al? Comments from the audience?
We have three comments from the audience. The first one is Raquel Durfler.
Good evening, board members and superintendent. Yes, Raquel Durfler. I'm with Cancel the Contract. It's been long known there's a direct correlation between student achievement and exclusionary discipline practices like suspension. As you are also aware, each school district in California self-reports its discipline data to the California Department of Education, which then posts that information onto its public website. That data is actually color-coded to allow parents to know at a glance how their child's school is performing in various categories. Unfortunately for its students, this district's most recent available data shows that it is in the red as it relates to academic performance in English language, arts, mathematics, and suspensions. Overall, the district is 74.4 points below standard in language arts and 109.4 points below standard in mathematics. The district has an overall out-of-school suspension rate of 6.6%. There is no way to measure how many students are being given in-school suspensions, as schools are not required to report that data to the states. When we look at individual student populations, the numbers get worse. The suspension rate for Black students was 13.5%. Students with disabilities had a 9.7% suspension rate, and foster youth was at a 10.2 suspension rate. You compare this to white students who had a suspension rate of just 3.5%. I'm really urging this board to take a deep dive into the data. I understand as board members, you're not aware of everything that is going on at the school sites, but I'm bringing it forth to you so you can take a look and see why are we pushing these children. And we are speaking of children, it's elementary. We have community members letting us and our community lawyering partners know that some schools have tried to push kindergartners out of class. And myself have had people tell me that second graders are being pushed out of class. So once again, I am advocating for the board to take a look to see what is going on. Why are we trying to push children out of the classroom instead of having them in class where they can learn and prosper? Thank you.
Next speaker is Becky Yamas.
Good evening, members of the board, colleagues, and community. My name is Becky Yanis. I'm the proud bilingual para at Miller, and I stand before you today, not only as an employee of the district, but also as a mother, a wife, and a student. Each of these roles is deeply important to me. And in all of them, I give 100% of myself. I wear every hat with pride and unwavering commitment. At the last board meeting, I sat in the audience and listened as my colleagues spoke from the heart. I was proud to hear them voice their concerns because many of the things that they shared, are concerns I share as well. It reminded me that we're all in this together, working toward the same goals for our students, our schools, and our community. I want to begin by expressing my appreciation for the work of the district office and for the information that has been shared regarding compensation. As the district office outlined, the 17% on-scale salary increases and the 29% in off-scale payments over the past 5 years. While those numbers may be accurate on paper, I'd like to offer some additional context that I believe is important to consider. Over that same 5-year period, benefit costs have increased by 32.4%. Minimum wage has risen by 19.2%. 13 of our job classifications still fall below the 17% threshold above minimum wage. Yes, it's true. We have seen a 17% increase in raises, But the reality is that our place on the wage scale and our true purchasing power have not meaningfully improved. The 29% in off-scale payments have absolutely made a difference. However, helping families keep up with utilities, pay overdue bills, and cover everyday necessities. And for that support, we are thankful. But let's be honest, those payments are only a bridge. They are temporary. They are temporary. They don't strengthen our base salaries. They don't grow our retirement. They don't create the long-term stability that we need. Let me close this with just a few numbers I hope we all take to heart. The lowest paid employee in the Lancaster School District earns 17.83 cents per hour. That's just 8.06% above minimum wage. We truly hope that we can continue to negotiate collaboratively, working together to find meaningful, long-term solutions that support both our staff and the success of our students. Thank you.
Next speaker is Juan Carlos Zavala.
Good evening, Lancaster School District board members, union siblings, and esteemed guests. My name is Juan Carlos Zavala, proud bilingual paraeducator with the Lancaster School District. For the past 3 years, I've had the privilege of working closely with our students, teachers, and administrators, supporting classroom learning and helping our students thrive not just academically, but as members of the greater community. I truly love what I do. Every day I show up with pride and purpose, knowing that my work and the work of so many classified employees make a real difference in the lives of our students. However, the reality we're facing is increasingly difficult to ignore. With ongoing minimum wage increases in California, including another one scheduled for January 2026, the current salary structure is simply not keeping pace. In the past, only classifications below minimum wage or under $20 per hour received increases. This practice has continued to distort the salary schedule and negatively impact the remaining classifications. It's not an equitable or sustainable solution. As a result, our classified salary schedule is no longer balanced, and many of us feel unseen, unsupported, undervalued, especially when it comes to wage equity. We also see the district's financial decisions, including significant spending on contracted positions paid at rates far higher than what many of us earn. Frankly, it's discouraging. It sends a message that the vital work we do each day is not being valued appropriately. Personally, I live in a 2-income home because I simply cannot afford to live independently in today's economy. I don't have children, but I regularly hear from colleagues who are raising families, and the financial strain they face, it's heartbreaking. And if the conditions persist, I worry about how we will continue attracting and retaining a strong, committed workforce. Tonight, we're asking for leadership to recognize the people behind the roles, the classified employees who work tirelessly behind the scenes to keep this district running and to support our students with care and commitment. Please help us fix the broken salary scale. Invest in the people who invest so much into this district every single day. Thank you for your time.
Consent agenda items, superintendent items 28 through 20J. Motion by Mr. TP, second by Mr. Wang. All in favor?
Aye.
The nation. Those are donations that come from our community to help with different. So what also like to touch on the proclamations that we have.
I'll do it at the end, but yeah, I can appreciate we are celebrating the week of the school administrator within the proclamation, where we're adopting a proclamation for character counts, and we're also adopting a proclamation for school safety, which all good things.
Yes, I wanted to make a comment. Policy about artificial intelligence. It's gonna be as we move forward and it's on that. Guidelines and everything. Others, the university ran into trouble. Gave all the students free AI. By the teacher. Some glad we're keeping that.
All in favor?
Okay.
Motion passes 4-0. Agenda items, business items 21A through 21M. Motion by Mr. Giles, second by Mr. Wyman. Good question. Motion passes 4-0.
I'd like to make one statement or two statements. Congratulations to Sunnydale School. Starting that is such an important part of a school. I saw it today when the ASB students at Oakland and Allsbury set up a color run, and I know most of the schools in this do color run. And I couldn't tell if it was the students or the teachers that were having the most fun. But I honestly think the students really truly enjoyed it. So thank you for starting the ASB at Sunnydale and updating your constitution in Endeavor. So, Mr. Lopez at Endeavor, he can to make sure that that school is strong, very strong. So thank you for both of those items.
Agenda items, educational services, items 22A to 22O. Motion by Mr. Teepee.
Second.
Second by Mr. Giles. Any questions? Or comment?
I think that we're doing a lot when it comes to autism. I think that our district supports the autistic children that we have within the district. And I appreciate the fact that we do it with such, I want to say, so much love, because it really does mean a lot to those students and to the parents too, but the students, and they just really, I've talked to them, I've seen them, had conversations with them. Sometimes that's not easy, but you know what? They can tell it like it is. So thank you for that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Agenda items, human resource, sir. Items 23A through 23B.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Wayne, second by Mr. Giles. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
And I'd just like to add one more thing. Sorry, I love to talk. Not that I like to hear myself talk, but the information on this item. For the Williams lawsuit. Said it before. Kristen, thank you very much for doing that. Having zero efficiency.
Consent agenda items, student and family services, items 24A to 24I.
Hello.
Mr. Giles. Second by Mr. Keating. Any questions or concerns, Mr.? All in favor?
Yes.
Motion passes for legislative policy discussion. Now we'll do comments from the board and superintendent. Mr. Wynn.
I think I've already talked enough. My congratulations are increasing attendance at our schools. Every week since we've started, I think we've had an improvement. And we're still down from a year ago, but you know what? I didn't declining. And that is because of the staff, because of the teachers, because of CSEA, because of all of us here who make a very big indelible impression on the students and the parents. So thank you very much. Zenny? Great. You're fantastic. Many times as I've had to deal with you, you've been very patient. I appreciate that. That Mr. Flores came up from Buffalo, Flores, and it's a briefing on the bond issues in the schools. I thank Charles Coleman for being there to help him with that information. Finally, the donation, Northrop, Burlington, individuals to our district. Yeah, we have a great amount of people out there that really and truly enjoy this district because of the people in it. Thank you.
Okay, it's a great board meeting. I was happy to see that negotiations are underway and looking forward to good settlements between all those groups. Also, it's great to hear from Emilio Flores with CFW, very detailed about our modernization plans for a lot of our school sites. I'm real excited that our bond has gone through and they're receiving a lot of funding for that. And it was very interesting. We're saying there's supposed to be over 2,000 new units in our district. So we're seeing a lot more enrollment in the future as well. So we do need to make sure our facilities are up and ready for those new students. And I was glad to see supplemental law enforcement agreement to keep security at our school sites. And it's great to see everybody here. We're off to a great start. Edward?
Thank you, Mr. Chief. Good job.
Guys all for coming and enjoying the meeting with us tonight. It's always fun to see smiling faces out there, and congratulations, Zinni, for the ACES award. You know, good job. I never heard anything bad about you guys over there in that your department. I guess y'all keeps a close eye on you guys. And that's kind of nice thing about being in our community. I just think about the other day, you know, I went to the fair, I ran into Brandon. Went out to lunch the other day, ran into Danielle. So, you know, you just never know who you're going to run into because there's a lot of people. Nobody ever has a bad thing to say about board members or the district. So I think that's maybe the rest of them are hiding. I don't know. Because, you know, I always hear stories about people, you know, getting at the district, at the, you know, the supermarket and saying, hey, you know, this is all bad and this and that. But I had that experience lately. So I appreciate the kind words of our employees and staff and students. And it's a good community to be a part of. I appreciate our speakers from the floor. It's always good to hear from the community. And hopefully we can take care of all the stuff we need to take care of as far as the negotiations. And I'm glad it's off to a good start. And with that, that's it.
Dr. Mariani?
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge our classified and certificated staff for all the work they do with our students across our 22 schools. Lancaster School District is very unique, and we have some tremendous challenges that we face that I don't think a lot of other school districts face up and down the state. You know, the numbers I heard today were over 1,000 homeless students, almost 300 foster students. We have one of the highest foster numbers in the state of California. And our response to the challenges that we face every single day is to come at it positively, trying to affect the whole child and trying to make a difference in children's lives. We've invested a tremendous amount of resources into capturing kids' hearts, our positive behavior support and intervention programs, our multi-tiered systems of support, interventions programs. We're committed to science and reading. We're committed to a phonics program that has seen growth in the early grades. We've established learning centers for both our students with IEPs and our general education students that are struggling. We have developed social emotional learning spaces for our students who are struggling as an alternative to suspension. We have mentor programs throughout our district that are working, Project Joy and Levo mentors to address behavioral concerns with our students and to find connection with our students. We have a wonderful expanded learning program after school for students to go to school until around 6 o'clock at night. So they're getting enrichment after school. We have wonderful sports programs that have, I know the Linda Verdi volleyball boys won the championship last week. We're doing so much. We are exerting so much effort, and we're doing it in a positive way to address the whole child. I would love to take anybody who wants a tour of our schools to come and see the work we do. I'm very, very proud and humbled by the people who serve children in Lancaster School District, and I want to thank them.
Thank you, Dr. Mariani. I'd like to start off by taking this update on the report. Always good to hear that we're doing well. Congratulations, Ms. Zinni. Seems like you're pretty remarkable out there. So thank you for everything that you do to make sure that we're in shape. Thank you again, Mr. Flores, for coming and letting us know how the school mod report is going as far as the update on everything that we are looking forward to. I know it's been a strain for a lot of our schools, but I can't wait till it's over and then we have it in effect and everyone gets to see all the work that's been put in. Slow, but it's going to be a really good thing. So, I'd like to thank all of the speakers that came out, Ms. Raquel, Ms. Betty, Mr. Juan. Often we appreciate taking the time to speak, and we value your opinion as well as your concern. take each and every one seriously. Thank you for your time. I'd like to congratulate all the schools that participated in the first round of our Latino Knowledge Bowl that took place last night. We had Mariposa, who I believe won. We had New Vista, Endeavor, and Paiute. So these kids did a remarkable job. If you haven't had an opportunity to come to any of the Knowledge Bowls, whether it's Latino or the Black Knowledge Bowls, I really implore you to get out and see just what these kids have to learn. Be surprised what you don't know. So, does anyone know, because we have the elementary school coming up, is that tomorrow? Monday.
I was wrong, it's Monday.
Okay, so if you missed it, you'll have an opportunity on Monday at 5 o'clock at Parkview. See our elementary schools competition, so come on out. Other than that, it was good to hear from you, CSEA. I'm glad that the negotiations are continuing forward and the direction. Thank you again. Any of that? Second. As usual. All right. Thank you guys for coming out. We'll adjourn at 7:08 p.m. Can I get a motion? Motion by Mr. Zhao, seconded by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor? Motion passes for